So I'm here this afternoon talking with Paul Nixon, Chief Social Worker in New Zealand. He's been in that role for about 8 years. Before that, a social work manager and practitioner in the UK. And we're talking about restorative practice, relational practice. Paul's spending time with the workforce this week. He'll have connected, I hope, with close to 200 or 300 people. And this is a conversation about what we can learn in the trust. If we want to work in this way, we want to make this run through the trust like letters through a stick of rock, then what do we need to do? So Paul, I'm really interested to understand from your experience in New Zealand and in the UK before that, what is it about this way of working that we need to understand and take hold of here?
It's been great to be a social worker both in the UK and in New Zealand and see the differences. And I think I've found that the problems facing families are broadly the same in both countries. I mean, there's some differences, but they're broadly the same. What's different is the response of the agency and the law to those problems. So in New Zealand, there's a really strong emphasis on reinforcing family and finding family and positioning family to take decisions and take control when there are problems. So the law allows families to organise their own meetings in a way that suits them. They can organise the protocol for the meeting, the time and the place, and run the business in a way that suits them. That challenges practitioners to work differently and to respond and react differently to families. And there's also dedicated resources that look almost entirely at finding families. So there's a real emphasis and investment on the role of family in children's lives and children's connection to family. And I think that's been one of the biggest differences I've seen. So once an organisation does that, it's communicating something very strong to its customers, to its clients, investing its resource and its practice in understanding that family are the most important connection and relationships children have.
So in New Zealand, there's a legal mandate wraps around that way of
That's exactly
working.
right. Yeah, so decision making in New Zealand is mandated to families as a right. Citizens are entitled to make decisions about their own family before the state can move in and take control. So actually what you see is you can't go to court, you can't remove the child, you can't take a child into care without having a family decision-making approach, which is essentially a restorative approach. And the effect of that is the numbers of children in care in New Zealand are very low indeed when you compare them internationally. And many more children are placed with their wider family where those connections and relationships are strengthened and supported.
So while UK legislation isn't written in quite the same way, would it be fair to say there's nothing in UK law that prevents us from working in that way?
That's right. That's right. Our Children Act is a great piece of legislation. It really does emphasise the importance of family. It doesn't provide all the mechanisms to ensure that that happens, but it's very permissive and encouraging around finding family for children and engaging family in decision making. So there's a very strong emphasis on social workers not over-intervening in families when they needn't do that, but also make sure that families have the right support and help to be successful with doing their job, which is essentially raising their own children.
So there's a legal framework that might allow us to work like this, and the opportunity for the trust is to build the mechanisms and establish the culture that supports family as a solution to the challenges that some of their children experience.
Exactly right, and I think that practice culture is the biggest thing actually, Andy. You can create policies, procedures, you can create mechanisms, but actually when you get your practice culture right, where people start to see this is the way we work with families, this is our attitude to families, these are the styles of engagement we're seeking to enhance and promote in Birmingham, then the community will start to learn that and families will start to learn that. They'll have more and more confidence that the agency is determined to help families and fundamentally involve them in decisions that affect their lives.
Great, thank you.
Pleasure.